Hello and hi there. This is Shara Inspires yet again, and now we are going to discuss the advantages of a blended family. And as we said, that blended families are becoming more and more because people, maybe you had gotten married young and you realize that you're older and you need to divorce or separate and things are not working. So nowadays we see that people are divorcing and moving on and getting into second and third marriages. And also we find that people are getting more married, with children. He comes with children, you come with children, and you have this blended family where eventually you have other children together. You find that sometimes there are very many single mothers. Why? Because maybe as a single girl, you're also trying to trap this guy so that you can have his child and so that he may marry you. And he doesn't want to. So you are left, you get pregnant, you're unable to trap him with a pregnancy. Or he could be a sponsor, a rich guy, and you want to get into his life. At the moment he discovers that you're pregnant, he's like, no, I didn't want babies, I only wanted a good time. So men also do not want to be trapped with children. Some of them are even going for DNA, and it's very embarrassing. You find the results of the DNA don't even favor you, and maybe the guy was actually paying upkeep, loyally and consistently. Then you decide, no, the money is not enough, I need to, I know the law and I need to take it up, and you end up losing. So you find that you may be a single mom, maybe also because the man who was in your relationship, you had a nice relationship, happy, you don't even have to come from a humble background, all was well, but your spouse may have died, or your spouse just decided to move on, or he got a second wife, and you're not into polygamy kind of marriage, you're not into a polygamous relationship, it's a no for you, and you decide, no, I do not want, so you let him be, and that's how you end up being a single mom. And also, people come into our lives and they mess marriages. As much as we are told that what God has put together, let no man or woman put asunder, but it does happen, and this is how we end up with blended families. Either way, it is hard work, but it's possible. And I tell you, challenges, they make us smarter, and tests are turned into testimonies. So we should not be afraid, and all these things, that's what makes up life. And when you go through challenges, they make you smart, they make you better, and they also make you somebody who can be able to learn from your experience and give advice. I talk to lots of people in the course of my work as a counselor, as a mediator, and also we are running a school. So you find that there are parents, when they come to the school, they have their issues, the children have their issues, and you find that we are one huge family. So I'm always talking to people, and I love it. For me, I just think that this is my calling. It's something I can do it anytime, and I'm happy doing it. I love to talk. Before, I never knew that there were careers for talkative people, and thank God for technology and for YouTube that I can speak to my camera all day. All right, now straight on, let's go to the advantages of a blended family. And number one is that it gives you a better financial support, because if you are a single mom, you are paying your own rent, you're paying the water bills, you're paying for electricity, a loan, and you have to pay for school and other bills, and then you team up with this guy, so you find that at least your finances combined, they are much better. You may also be financially okay. As a lady, it's not always the finances that bring you up together. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to come from a hardship kind of background. No. So your finances are good, and his finances also may be not good. So even for him, if it's the guy, then he's got a better financial support. So they strength in numbers, and always two are better than one. All right, and then you're more happier, because you have found maybe a good partner, and you have already discussed the before I say I do, watch out for that video where you discuss everything before you bring in the children, his children, and get into a relationship that might end up being tricky. So discuss all these things, and I believe that you have discussed all these things before, and now we're just looking at the advantages. Everything is well, and even the wedding has been done, and you are showing off your wedding ring, and you have your marriage certificate, and that makes you more happier. And of course, if the happier parents, happier children, happy pets if you have pets with you, and it makes everybody happy. So yes, it makes you happier. And then you learn more problem solving skills. Everybody learns them. You as a husband, you learn how to solve the problems, because now the children are more, and these children are different. You're also trying to please the lady by loving her children, and wanting to be the man. So you have to learn problem solving skills of the children that you are not used to, and the lady as well. And the children, again, depending with the age of the children, if they are teens or they are young adults, some of them even they are actually adults where they have families, and your grandparents uniting into a blended family. Times have really changed. Things are getting even better. People are getting love in old age, and that is just lovely. All right, so you learn more problem solving skills. Everybody does, yourself, him, the children. All right, and then more family members to offer support. So maybe you came from a family where you were just few, or maybe you had one child and he's got 3, so you become 4 children, and maybe give birth to 2 more. Then of course there are more family members to support. So these siblings will support each other. You will have more in-laws to support you, because remember that before I say I do, that video is so crucial. You have to discuss all these things. Involve even the in-laws. Let them know that we are getting married, we are coming in with children, and we are going nowhere. This relationship is here to stay. So that way, then you get more family members offering you support, because the children have more aunties, they have more uncles, they have, more in-laws. And when you have issues with them, then you can be able to send them. You go to aunt so-and-so and stay there. If the children are adults, you work from there, get a job. Maybe the child is in his 20s, and I will send my son to my brother, and I will say, you go there, you stay at your uncle's place and work there. You see? Maybe I come from a family where I'm an only child, then I will send them to this other family, where there are more. So either way, you have more family members to offer support. Even if you have a function, you have more people you can call upon to help you cook, especially for us ladies. And now Christmas is coming, you have so many other people who will help you to cook. They'll assist you with the household chores as well, and they can also come and sleep over. Maybe you need to go for vacation with your hubby. You have more family members to offer support. Happy family. And then the stepchildren are more honest. If they like you, they like. If they hate you, they hate. They don't mince around with their words. They like. So that honesty makes you go through self, like, really, this child doesn't like me, and why? Have I really tried my best to be loved by this child? Have I really been good? Have I been just one-sided? Have I been negative? It makes you also, I keep saying, calling yourself for a alone meeting, where you go through self-reflection. That's a topic I always teach about, my favorite, because I believe that for us to be happy, and for us to really know self, and for us to accept positive and negative criticism, you've got to know self. So the stepchildren are more honest. That's point number 5. Point number 6, it gives children broader view of what normal family is all about. So these children have come from a family they thought was normal. Maybe it had mom and dad, and then your children maybe came also from a family they thought was normal, mom, dad, and then parents, they call it off, this one's call it off, and then they meet from 2 normal families to form a blended family. So even if they would leave the country and go overseas to study, they'll be able to understand that there are various families that exist. When they are also going to church and mingling with other children, they'll be able to understand that it's possible to have a single home family where the mother or the dad is single, We also have families where people are divorced, and we also have what we treat as normal father-mother children. And that happens because many children who come from a home where there's mom and there's dad and everyone is happy, they get surprised when they hear that there are children who are orphans and children who come from other families where it's not treated as normal. But what's important is happiness. Let's all try and look for happiness. And then the children stop blaming themselves for the breakup, especially if these children are happier, because it doesn't mean that our biological parents always make us happy. Some people are fighting living with narcissistic parents, daddies who molest their children, mothers who beat up their sons, or mothers who lure, who want to have their sons so close to them. Those mama's boys, they're always close that they're unable to remarry or move on. And the children are fighting. They just don't know how to get out of it. So you find that if they get out of those kind of relationships, some of them are even living in relationships where the parents, they drink, they condone it, they condone their stealing, they condone all what you call bad. Then they move into this family where people go to church, where there are values instilled in them, and it might actually make them happier. And they realize that, all right, whatever my parents went through had nothing to do with me. And you find that they may even be able to discover their talent. Depends with which parent they've come into, what kind of parent's life. This parent may be able to nurture their talent and make them go for greatness. And that improves their life. So to every negativity, there's always a positivity. And then children learn new skills from new parents. For example, you have spoiled your children, you have this nanny to take care of your children, and you've got this housekeeper who makes your child's bed, cooks for them, and your kids do nothing. These are the kind of the children we are bringing up, discussing with a young child, a preschool kid, and asking them, utakula nini? What are you going to eat? You cannot be dictated by a child about what meals you're going to cook in your house. You're the parent, so you take up the parental seat and operate like a mom, like a dad. Be firm, set the rules. So if this child comes from that kind of a background and meets you in this family where there are rules and where there's a schedule, there's laundry to be washed, there are dishes to be cleaned, there's the house to be mopped, there's a bed to be fixed, there's a room to be arranged, they learn new things, and eventually it becomes a positive to them because they're adding value. Sometimes we treat our children as if they're physically challenged. I hear all this in school. The children do a lot of nothing, such that if you make them collect trash, let's say on the playground, you just make them collect the garbage, and they go home and the parents are like, why did you make our children collect garbage? And yet you're just teaching them responsibility. And the only way that this kind of parents accept is when they receive on their WhatsApp wall a forward from China, when they see that children in China clean their own classes and they do all their chores and take themselves to school. They get on the train and they're like, oh, really? Not a bad thing. But when you're introducing it here locally, you want children to do stuff they don't want to. And thanks God for CBC, because these are some of the errands that children are made to do. Like, for example, in grade 4 and 5, the children, they cook. We teach them how to cook. So children learn new skills from the new parent. And the skills we are looking at are the positive ones, because they can also learn negative skills. They may come from a home where they were doing chores. Then they come to this house where now nothing is done. So it can be either or. Not all real parents are good to their children, yes. Not all biological parents are good. There are some of the parents who actually don't love children and they don't give a damn. Their work was just to have you in their belly and bring you into this world. But maybe God had planned that this step parent is the one who was meant to bring you up and make your life better. I even know about a certain girl who was who was introduced to the father. The father was looking for her and she was introduced to the father, and she was very upset. She just thought that it was very wrong for her to be introduced to her daddy, as much as the dad is very senior, and she felt that he was never there all her life. Her stepdad has been, educated her, and she's who she is because of him, and she was bitter at some point, like, why would this person want to introduce me to my real dad? I don't want to know him. And what do? Of course you respect. And it makes sense because it's not like you know her story. And if that's how somebody feels, you can see children have choices, and it depends with the ages of the children. If they are older, then they understand things more. All right, so not all parents are good to their children, or you may have been good to your child, but you were never there. So you try to come to their lives again, and it can be a bit tricky. Well, it happens, but where there's a will, there's a way. Eventually, we are all human, and you find that some people get soft and they solve all these conflicts. And finally, some step parents may be a miracle to be. Because if your parents were dead and your step parent brought you up, so it means you have a mom now or you have a dad now, and you as a lady also, you have a husband, so you are called Mrs. and a husband also, because leadership for a man starts at home. You find that you have a family and it becomes a miracle. And especially here in Kenya, you find that you're respected when you're in a family setup. You notice that even those men who really drink and they lose it and they sleep, along the roadside, and you can find even the dog licking them on the side. They have a home to go to. They have a wife they go to, and a bed they sleep on, and children who call him dad. And you find a lady, when you're single, there's even the watchmen, they want to come and tell you that the security light is not working, so that maybe you'll be able to tell them, please come in and have a cup of tea, because they know that there's no man in your life, or they don't see a man who sleeps all night in your house, so they know that you have no husband, and they would want to be your husband. So you find that even respect, you are always a threat to the ladies out there, and they think that you're a husband snatcher. So yeah, it could be a miracle for the whole family. So once again, may you have a Merry Christmas, and let me hear your comments on blended families, and if I've left out any advantages, you can also add it up in the comment section. Clouds of blessings, and bye bye.